Wow, it's been a while. I can't believe that. I think we've been gone for 3 weeks. Wow. Okay, we're excited to be back. We missed you. Thank you so much. If you're joining us on live stream, wonderful. We appreciate it for being here. If you're watching us on Instagram or any place else, wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, by the way,
We are
guys,
back.
the sub button starts glowing when you say subscribe. So subscribe.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right. Got that taken care of. All right. So
Subscribe.
a lot has happened since we've been gone. All
Yes.
right. So we're going to talk about, look, we have not forgotten about Echo. We will get to Echo. People or
Next year, probably.
if people are still out there, who, everyone who wants to see it should have seen it by now. So we'll cover it because we feel that's the right thing to do. We spent time watching these episodes and taking notes. So we're going to discuss. But before we do that, there was a trailer that dropped.
Yeah.
And okay, Keith will start talking at some point.
Huh?
The Bad Batch trailer.
As soon as I start talking.
Go ahead.
All right. So the
Batch.
trailer for Bad Batch Season 3 has dropped about a week ago.
I feel like it was 2 weeks ago. But anyway, so
I don't feel old a week ago. So we have a lot of Easter eggs and a lot to debunk. Namely, if you go through the trailer, there's one shot where you can actually see Crosshair's sniper rifle and what looks like a piece of his armor. I have his action figure right here. It's like this part of his shoulder and then his weapon. You can actually see it next to Hunter. It is shot in the trailer like around the time Ventress shows up.
Mm-hmm.
So we know now that Crosshair is going to rejoin the Batch because of that.
We don't know that for sure. I know what you're seeing. You think you're seeing his weapon.
Well, I don't know who else has a sniper rifle in the Bad Batch.
All right. Well, it's possible.
Or in Star Wars.
Okay, I get it. All right. So let's. We're not going to do a complete breakdown of the trailer.
We're going to talk about like everybody's big question.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to that. All right. So a couple of things I put in my notes in regards to some quotes that caught my attention. So one is Omega's been reigning for us for a long time. It does seem to me that Omega has aged since the time she's been captured.
Yeah,
so we don't know quite how long.
There's this part where it looks like two different shots stitched together. Because we see one with Omega walking, and we see two shots with Omega walking, but in one shot, her hair is longer than in the other shot, which makes me think that they were stitched together. And we also see Crosshair about once in the show, which leads me to believe that maybe he's not going to make it out. Other than that little Crosshair Easter egg right there that I talked about, I'm not. It's looking grim for him.
So the question is, how long has Omega been in captivity? Right? We know what happened at the end. Of course, spoiler review of what took place at the end of season 2. She was captured by the Empire. Dr. Hemlock. He's out there.
Is he really a doctor though?
Dr. Hemlock. Yeah, very, very creepy guy. So he's got a hold of her. You're right. There was a scene when we saw Omega and Crosshair crossing paths, but it's not exactly Omega in the same shot. So one shot you saw her with longer hair. The time when she's passing by Crosshair was probably when she just got captured, right? So he's going in one direction and he looks beat down, and she looks like she's coming in. So
Bro's going through a lot.
Yeah, he has been. I've never seen Crosshair look this way. I mean, he is really. He's been under torture for a very long time. So, they're trying to get him to talk, and he's not going to do it. All right. So, a quote from the Emperor, which is very important. He says, "There's nothing of greater importance to secure the future of this empire. Whatever is needed to accomplish this goal, you will have it." He's got to be talking about cloning, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we know at some point he's going to clone. That's how he returned in The Rise of Skywalker.
Somehow Palpatine came back.
Yeah, they're going to tie
that in. Even the writers didn't know how he came back, so they put a line in there, a little self-insert.
They Poe Dameron. Yeah. Okay. And we saw some cameos. So we saw Fennec Shan, Cad Bane, Nalase, always. Rex.
Nalase was dead.
No, that was Taun We, right? Yeah, Taun We. Yeah. She's gone. So Nalase, they're keeping her around because
I thought it was Lama Su.
Lama Su is the prime minister, right?
But yeah, doesn't Nalase have the red robes though?
I don't remember. Well, the prime minister is Lama Su, right? And I think he was taken out of power. I don't know.
Well, the Empire took him, so
okay, all right, yeah. So now say they're keeping her alive until they get what they need from her. What they needed was Omega. So now that they have her, do they still need? Serve much purpose I feel bad for. I feel bad for Nalase. I don't know.
It's looking grim for Nalase.
I don't know if things are going to work out for her. But anyway, so we saw Fennec Shan, Cad Bane, Fee returns. Now this is interesting because remember what happened. I'm not going to talk about it because I know it's a very, very, very emotional moment. No. But I wonder how she took the news when the batch returned to her planet Pabu and told her that Tech didn't return.
Can't they make another one of him? He's a clone. Can't they clone him again?
I hope not, Keith. I know. I don't.
After DNA samples,
I'm going to be honest with you.
Can they just clone another Tech, please?
No. Although it was very powerful, it was very emotional
and awful,
but it was memorable. I will never forget seeing that moment when Tech just lets go and he says Plan 99 and he's gone. I don't want them to reverse that because that was said. Wow.
So you enjoyed it?
No, it's not about enjoyment. It's about
breaking news. Everybody, Dad wanted Tech to die.
It's about telling the story. They really had a great ending for Tech, and it was unexpected. Nobody wanted Tech to go, but the way he did was incredible.
Recker could also push the train up along the train. So the issue was that apparently Tech was pulling the train down. Couldn't Recker have just pushed it up and balanced out the force so the train would start moving
there
again?
Are thousands and thousands of feet up, right? And Recker is afraid of heights. So what is Recker going to do?
I mean inside the train he can just push it.
Okay. All right.
I mean there were thousands of feet up. There's really no plausible way for him to get out and push. I mean, can he push it up, so that it's being not forced along the train track?
Okay.
And then have Hunter and Echo bring up Tech.
Keith, we got some people on the live stream ready for Q&A. I can't wait. Alex, has been such a long time. Thank you so much. So Tech's death was very powerful. Yes, it was very well written, animated, heartbreaking, but a great moment. And I second that they shouldn't reverse it. I agree.
Banned.
Thank you. Eric, thank you for joining us. Thank you. Tech should stay we're speaking the same language. Tech should stay dead. What's next? We're going to clone Vader, Ben Solo, and Count Dooku. Death is.
They should clone Ben Solo. His character arc just kind of amounted to nothing.
If you're gone, you're gone. Please don't come back.
But his character arc really amounted to nothing.
No. Yeah, I know, but they had the opportunity.
I feel like his character arc just didn't exist. I mean, he learned to not kill his family members. I mean, that's really it.
Well, I mean,
which is a normal people's skill.
He had an opportunity. He redeemed himself, but for whatever the reason, the producers or the storytellers decided that no longer a need for Ben Solo.
That new Sith we've been working on is the last part of the Skywalker lineage. Let's take him and Leia out in the same movie.
Yeah, so it is what it is. Okay.
Genius idea.
All right, let's continue with Q&A. Let's see if we have anything else. Okay, all right. So let's get on and talk about that big moment. The Ben Solo returns the same way that Bobby Ewing. That joke between me and Alex. Yes, Dallas.
I remember.
Yeah, Bobby Ewing. Exactly.
Oh yeah, people were so outraged he died that they just made an entire season a dream sequence.
Yes, exactly. That's what happened. But that's a little bit different, Alex, because they needed Bobby Ewing to come back. So I was glad that he came back anyway, but not
I
Tech.
would be glad if Tech came back now.
I understand. Okay.
I
All
mean,
right. Yeah. And
except for like Recker and Omega, he was like the only character that I was really attached to for the first two seasons.
Oh, absolutely. I can see that. Yeah, he's a brain, a genius. You know, he always has an answer.
He tells
for
it
something.
like it is.
He does, and right, he tells you who you are. He has no. He's not afraid to tell you the truth. All right. So
yeah, I feel like the annoying part about the finale of the last season was Echo left the team to go be with Rex and do all sorts of awesome missions with the clone squad and do all of that stuff. Tech took the leap of faith. May he rest in peace.
Yes, he did.
Crosshair has been jumping between the exact same fence line for the past 2 seasons, and we still don't know where they're going with that one definitively. Okay. And Omega is in captivity, so that leaves Hunter and Recker, which are both good characters.
Yeah.
And Hunter is like Omega's father figure. It's like you can't have Hunter without Omega, and you can't have Omega without Hunter. So
okay, yeah,
there's that.
Well, yeah. Anything else?
I'm scared.
You're scared of who's gonna go next?
A little.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about that. You know, if it has to serve the story. You know, if someone has to be sacrificed, well, as long as it serves the story, I can get with it. It would be very hurtful to see, but I'm if it serves the story, that's all that matters to me.
Well, here's who I don't think is gonna die.
Yeah,
Hunter and Echo, unless they pull the whole Ronnie Raymond on poor Echo, and Omega actually, because Hunter and Omega's like a little kid. She's got a bright future.
Sure.
And like I said, you can't have Omega without Hunter, and you can't have Hunter without Omega. And then Echo.
Yeah.
The whole Ronnie Raymond. You know who Ronnie Raymond is?
I do not know.
Firestorm. So in the Flash.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers. In the Flash, he's dead in the first season, but they bring him back to life, and he dies again. And then in an alternate universe, he's alive, and he dies again.
Okay, that's too confusing.
Basically, my point is that they brought him back to life only to kill him off again, which is what they did with Echo.
But why?
Exactly. So I don't think they're going to do that with Echo, is my point.
Okay, I got you.
I don't think he's going to die.
Okay, all right. That's fine. And, you know, we've talked about Omega's future. You know, I agree with you. I think she will make it out. And she does have a bright future. As a matter of fact, you know, we've discussed it. We think that she'll have a place on the Senate, right? Someone to support the clones, you know, the clone rights. So, all right. Eric says maybe they'll kill Recker. Yeah, maybe they'll kill Recker because he's a fan favorite and it'll hit hard. Again,
I promise you, if they take out Recker too, I will go straight to Lucasfilm and I will give them each a writing prompt so they can think about their actions.
As long as it serves the story, you know, I know it's gonna hurt. Alex says great reference to Ronnie. I remember how Harrison Wells from look at this. Alex is a Flash fan.
Flash.
Great reference to Ronnie. I remember how Harrison Wells from Earth 2 mistakenly called him Ricky when he heard about him. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm still salty about what they did to all the Wells. All the Wells in the world died for us for nothing.
Okay. All right.
Literally. That whole artificial speed force used for one episode. And the entire point of it doesn't make sense because the point is that Barry can't show emotion, but he showed enough emotion to realize he couldn't show emotion and destroy the thing, which is in itself showing emotion.
Back to Star Wars.
So what was the purpose of that?
Back to Star Wars, everyone. Thank you for joining
I'd love
us.
for somebody to explain that to me.
This is a Star Wars podcast. Thank you. All right, we're talking about Star Wars. All right, now let's get to
the bread and butter.
Let's get to the bread and butter. Let's get
to what everybody's talking about.
Yes, the shock at the end of the trailer. You want to kick it off, or you want me to start?
Ventress.
All right. So now, interesting. Okay, so we hear her voice before we see her, but that voice is so recognizable. But it left. Well, I'll tell you what happened. So what she said is, "I wasn't planning on killing you, but you're making it very tempting." I don't know who she's talking to. I wish I could come up with some person who is it the Emperor maybe she's talking to, but I don't think she would get that close to Palpatine. And it's not the Batch because she doesn't know the Batch that well. Why would she want to kill them or even have thoughts of killing them? But anyway, so we heard this voice, very distinctive. It was Asajj Ventress. It didn't occur to me when she came on the screen that, well, wait a minute, she's already dead at this point. I missed it until Keith brought it to my attention. I was thinking, okay, well, this happened before the Order 66,
but the only issue
we don't know that
she was already one with the spice by then,
right? Yeah, right. So you're thinking it's probably a dream sequence.
No,
you're not.
I think it's just a flashback.
Oh, okay, a flashback.
What I'm
right,
thinking is, how Lamassu has taken to hiring bounty hunters to go after Omega. Maybe this is the first time Omega's escaped, and at one point he hired Ventress.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. By the way, so we're seeing more bounty hunters. Well, the same bounty hunters, but
yeah. So maybe that was like a scene. It was two different scenes of the Batch and Ventress stitched together. Because here's the only thing that I think about that scene. It's that why is Ventress taking out a bunch of people with blue blaster bolts?
True.
Like, don't clones typically have red blaster bolts?
Right. And
the rest of the Batch do?
Good point.
So whoever they were probably Imperials.
That would make sense that she would want to take them out. All right. Well, okay. So
we have a comment from Eric.
Okay. Well, let me take one step back. So these bounty hunters that we're seeing, Cad Bane and Fennec, do you think they're there to maybe help? Do you think maybe the Batch are asking them to help them to find Omega?
I don't know.
Or do you think they're hired by somebody else to find the Batch? You don't know. Okay. I'm under the impression that maybe the Batch is reaching out to them because they know both and probably asking them for help. Now, how they're going to afford these bounty hunters, I don't know, because we know the Batch doesn't have any kind of money. Oh, well, anyway, we're not going to talk about Sid.
That's silly little reptile.
Yes.
That conniving reptile.
Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. So we covered this book already. So if you didn't see our episode where we talked about Asajj Ventress, daughter of Dathomir, and her backstory, and this book, when this book takes place. So it is happening in 19 BBY. Okay, which is after the Attack of the Clones, but before Revenge of the Sith. Okay, all right.
Before Order 66.
And before Order 66. So
the only problem with that is that by the time the Bad Batch's first season rolls around, Ventress is already dead.
Yes, well,
and I saw a message from Star Wars. So apparently everything that happens in the Bad Batch aligns with Dark Disciple. So I don't know what aligned with the events of Dark Disciple means.
Well, okay. Can I say something? I think, what maybe they're saying is that this storyline and the Batch's storyline are running parallel, right? Because they're both happening in 19 BBY. Although
the only problem isn't Dooku the one to take Ventress out? And we know he
and Dooku is gone by this time, right? But it's still within the same time frame, like the same year, 19 BBY, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is some overlap, perhaps, going on.
I don't know. If Ventress is after Omega, that timeline-wise wouldn't make sense because Omega would not have known the Batch. And she would have known the Batch, but the Batch wouldn't have known her.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Let's Q&A. Let's see what other people think. Do you think Asajj is back? We're going to talk about how she came back, or do you think it's a flashback like Keith is probably thinking? So Alex says maybe the Night Sisters brought her back. Yeah. That's my thinking.
I actually had that theory, actually.
Yeah.
Did a little bit of research. So usually when the Night Sisters bring somebody back, like the zombies from Clone Wars or the Dark Troopers from Ahsoka, they look like zombies. Like Ventress has a very humanoid appearance. She looks like Ventress did in Dark Disciple.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't look like a zombie or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't have any, like how Morgan Elsbeth, when they gave her those powers, she had, like, the face markings of the black eyes.
That's true, right, yeah.
She Ventress doesn't have that.
Yeah, yeah.
She looks a little closer to the wrong side of the dead.
But I think the Night Sisters still have the power. I recall there was something that took place in Son of Dathomir, the Darth Maul graphic novel, where Maul captured Dooku and brought him back to Dathomir, and Mother Talzin wanted to take his life, his essence, Dooku's life and essence, and put it in her to give her human form. So it's possible that they may have done the same thing with another human. We don't know what human that is, but if you recall, if you read the book, by the way, this is a great book. If you have not read it, I highly recommend it. At the end of the book, I'm telling you the ending because we've talked about it before. Ben Kenobi and Quinlan Vos returns Ventress's body to Dathomir and gives them to her sisters. All right. So we don't know what happened after that part, right? So it's possible that they might have found a way to revive her.
So they're necromancers now.
I don't know. Look, it's just theories. We don't know. I'm just saying is I don't want it to be a flashback because I would be disappointed if this is a flashback and they're showing this in the trailer. They could have just left that out. The reason why it's in the trailer is because of a very important moment. So I hope it's more than that. Okay. All right.
One more thing.
Yes.
Aren't pretty much all the Night Sisters dead by now?
I don't know that. We don't know that.
I mean, at least we know Mother Talzin's
She's gone.
I'm pretty sure there was an arc in the Clone
Wars
where they took out a bunch of Night Sisters.
A bunch of them. I don't know all of them. I don't know if all of them were
I mean, there are those three that are on
the other planet,
that godforsaken planet
in the other
Ahsoka,
galaxy.
Sabine, and Ewing are left behind on.
Right, yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out.
Also, why didn't Ezra just force pull Sabine up to the ship and then both of them pulled Ahsoka? Because Sabine is not strong enough to do it herself, and Ezra's not strong enough to do it himself. So why didn't they just both do it together, and then they can bring Ahsoka on board? All right, can we talk about the Bad Batch?
We've talked about Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, and I forgot about Huyang.
Oh, okay. So here we go. All right, so let's wrap this up. All right, Quinlan Vos. Do you think we'll see Quinlan Vos? Why not? In season 3. Not sure. Don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. Operation Stardust. I wanted to talk about that. Do you remember what?
No.
No what?
No.
All right. No what?
I don't think we're going to see Galen or so.
You don't. I do because I don't remember which episode it was in season 2. Remember when at Tantus, Tarkin had that meeting with the heads, like the 5 families, like in The Godfather, and they're sitting and they're talking about, the next steps, and
the 9 realms.
Yes, and Director Krennic is there, and Tarkin turns to Krennic and say, "Well, how is Operation Stardust going?" And Krennic says, "Oh, it's going great." Well, if they mention Operation Stardust, it would make sense to show Galen Erso. Why not bring Galen, the character of Galen Erso to animation and have, Mads Mikkelsen voice the character? Well,
this is like ATBBY. So.
Yeah, but
Operation Stardust really hasn't taken off yet.
But look, I mean, it took years to build the Death Star, right? So it's not like it took a couple of years. They've been planning this and putting this plan together for like many years. Who knows? I mean, it's a Death Star. I mean, it's not something you're going to build in 6 months. So
I mean, they did it with the second Death Star.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, that's a good point, but it was unfinished.
It's funny though. Starkiller Base was essentially take the Death Star, make it bigger, better, and have the exact same flaw.
Yeah, okay. I
bet you Kylo Ren was going over.
All right,
let's City was like, so you know how Luke Skywalker blew it up with the proton torpedo through the exhaust port?
Yes.
Let's do that again.
Okay. All right. Okay. So We know that
What is this?
the 3 episodes. These are the titles.
What is this?
3 3 episodes is going to be a 3-episode premiere on Wednesday, February 21st. All right, so we know the titles of all the episodes. All right.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Okay, so
also known as WikiLeaks.
All right, so here we go. So episode 1 is called Confined. 2 is Past Unknown. 3 is Shadows of Tantus. Those are the first 3 episodes.
Cool.
Episode 4 is A Different Approach. 5 is The Return. 6 is Infiltration. 7 is Extraction.
Those are the episodes I think they're going to break out Crosshair.
Yeah, that's 6 and 7 going to be very interesting.
Maybe even
I agree
Omega
with you.
too. I don't think they're going to keep them apart for the whole season.
I do. I think they're going to spend the entire season.
It might be closer towards the latter half, but
they're going to spend the entire season.
It's just like how they couldn't part Mando and Grogu, so Book of Boba Fett went through all that work to bring him back.
They're going to spend the entire season looking for Omega. Trust me.
That's not going to be a fun season.
Okay, we'll see.
It's essentially going to be the Sid missions all over again, but with no tech to light up the moon.
I hope it's not that, but you have a good point.
I promise you, if this entire season is the Bad Batch finding different bounty hunters who all fail at the task to free Omega, I will flip. I will literally do a backflip, turn into Mr. Fantastic, and just disappear.
Episode 8 is called Bad Territory. Episode 9 is The Harbinger. 10 and 11, double feature. Identity Crisis, that's episode 10, and Point of No Return.
Hasn't Point of No Return been an episode title already?
I don't know. Not sure. It sounds familiar, doesn't it?
And one more thing. Identity Crisis, you think this has anything to do with Ventress if she is being brought back from the dead?
I don't know. It's possible.
Maybe they're doing like a what was the name of that dude? Was his name Steve? Yeah, maybe they're doing like a Steve Trevor type thing.
From Wonder Woman?
Yeah, 1984. They brought him back, but in a different body. So he has the outward appearance of Steve Trevor.
So it looks
but he's a completely different dude in the mirror.
Oh boy, I don't know how that would go over. So it'll be Asajj Ventress on the outside, but
Ventress in the front, somebody else in the back.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Okay, so that's 10 and 11. Episode 12 is called Juggernaut. Interesting.
I'm the Juggernaut.
13 is Into the Breach. Episode 14 is called Flash Strike.
Flash.
And the finale, episode 15, is called The Cavalry Has Arrived.
I can already tell that's going to be Rex and the troops pulling up.
I think that's going to be the clone uprising that we've been talking about. That we thought, well, I thought at least it was going to happen in season 2.
I think Flash Strike might be a clone uprising, and
the
cavalry has arrived.
It's going to happen.
Them all showing up to help the Bad Batch and like breaking out Omega together.
Yeah. Okay. So any final comments regarding the Bad Batch before we move on to Echo? All right. So let us know what you think. I think I saw Katie pop in. Hi, friends. Katie, how are you? It's always good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, so, all right, Echo. Let's talk about Echo.
Yeah, by the way, y'all, I know Wikipedia is not associated with WikiLeaks. I'm making the joke that they're all...
Did you say WikiLeaks?
Yeah, I did. Because they're leaking company secrets. They're out here with all the titles.
Okay, we don't want to give Wikipedia a bad name. They're not WikiLeaks. So this information is
joking.
Public. Yes, it is. You're right. But yes, I just want people to know. We know that... it's public knowledge. We're not giving
Wikipedia, please forgive me.
We're not giving out anything that you don't already know that you could find on the socials. Anyway, all right. So Echo, you had a very good question. I hope you would ask. Well, I can ask the question. If you don't want me to ask the question, I'll move on. Okay. So
yeah, does anybody like Echo?
Well,
as a character.
Okay, that's not the question I thought you were going to ask. The question...
No, but like, is Echo a likable character?
Yes, that's the question. Okay, I like that question better. And the reason why you asked that is...
She does not seem to care about any of her family members. Like, she basically had no emotion when her mother died. Like, first off, she shed like one tear. Mm-hmm. Me personally... I would just be bawling.
Sure, yeah.
I'd have a whole river full of tears, bruh.
I understand.
Also, she lost her leg. That was a big last shard. Yeah. Me personally, I would have been screaming. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that hurt too. So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Second off, Bonnie, she thought of Bonnie like a sister and then never went into contact with her for like 15, 20 years, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when exactly Echo takes place, but like flip phones were certainly around, and now we have modern smartphones. So I'm sure there was a way you could have contacted Bonnie. So that's 0 for 2 with Echo not caring about her family members. And then let's move on to Biscuits. Poor Biscuits being the errand boy for Echo, just running around picking up items for her. He's like, is this illegal? And she just throws money at him. He ends up breaking his grandma's truck because he has to go off-roading to go save his sister because he thinks she's in danger. She just throws him a tracker and jumps off the bridge, which is probably traumatizing.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So that's 3.
Mm-hmm.
And poor Uncle Henry, man, he was just out here telling Echo not to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
You already took out Kingpin. Like, don't get in this. And then she's like, they hit first, I hit back. Did they hit first, though?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she did kind of blow up a whole warehouse with no real regard for civilians. If that was opened on a train tracks and the tracks exploded and some passenger car came by, they would have been completely derailed. That could have been catastrophic.
I got you. All right. So
Schuster just doesn't have that much emotion as a character.
Understood. Okay. Anything else?
I mean, I don't think she's a bad character.
Yeah.
I'm just like she doesn't really treat her family members well. So I'm not sure what direction they're going in with Echo, like if she's gonna be a villain or if she's gonna be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got new powers, which I thought her powers from the comics were already pretty cool. This is also kind of cool, but it's not really used. And when it is used, it doesn't make sense. Like, how did she know to pass her powers to her family members?
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this. My overall thoughts of the series. I enjoyed it. It was only 5 episodes, but I think for what they gave us, they did a great job talking about.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. Echo.
What?
Echo.
What about Echo?
Echo.
All right, you just interrupted me.
Echo for the Bad Batch. We were just talking about the Bad Batch. So now we're talking about Echo for Marvel.
Yes, got it, Keith. Okay.
You could say we're echoing over.
Yes, right. Is there an echo in here? All right. This is a great story about family dealing with grief, trauma. Maya was going through a lot. Now, if you think about what happened to her from a very young girl, she lost her mom. Okay. Which, and although, maybe outwardly she doesn't show emotion, but
I'm sure she was broken up on the inside.
What was happening inwardly, I think, was, more important because she did handle grief, but in a very different way. And I think what she needed to do was to be away from her family because it was just too much pain and too much memory of being around them. Bonnie, for example, when she and her father had to leave to move to New York City, and Bonnie's running after her in the car and she's yelling out to Bonnie, and that was a traumatic time for both of them. And the way for Echo to manage that was to just
never talk to her again.
Well, yeah, I mean, whether you agree with it or not, that was how she managed
also,
her.
Poor Bonnie, her whole character arc was getting kidnapped twice by the same dude.
Yes, right. Yes, okay. All right, so we're done talking about Echo. Yeah, so and then as she got older, Echo loses her dad. So she's lost both of her parents. And she is in need of a mother figure or a father figure or somebody to guide her and lead her because she is now alone. No, she didn't, but she didn't. Well, I know what you're saying.
But of
she
all people,
she could have, yes,
she picked a dude who beat up an ice cream man.
That's
honestly,
right.
The ice cream man, I didn't like his tone, but how was he supposed to know that Maya was deaf? Like,
yeah, I agree.
That's like walking up to somebody and being like, yo, you want to get some candy? They come back with the bag of peanut M&Ms because they love peanut M&Ms. And you're like, I'm allergic to peanuts. You monster. You trying to kill me. And they're like, I didn't know you were allergic. Like, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't get mad at somebody for doing that. I mean, Kingpin's reaction, it was arrest worthy. But even the cops are scared of him. I mean, Kingpin's like the Al Capone of the MCU.
Oh boy,
this dude is getting away with everything. Yeah, we're reading about Alcatraz in school.
Oh really? Okay, all right. Well, that's very interesting. All right, so yeah,
you ever looked at Al Capone? It looks like he looks like the mafia boss from The Simpsons.
I have not seen the mafia boss for them. It's been a while. Anyway,
we don't want to get stereotypical. Godfather.
I don't remember who that
he is. Actually, Maggie's Godfather.
Okay, I get it. All right, thank you. Let's not go too far out. Okay, so let's talk about Kingpin. Yes, so you're right. So she could have gone back to her home, and back to the people that love her and know her very well, but she didn't. She stayed in New York City. And who is running New York City but Kingpin? And Kingpin Wilson has been a person who's been around for most of her life. You know what I mean? Even when she was a little girl. Because her dad worked for Kingpin.
Honestly, I think Echo just enjoys hitting people and hurting them.
Well,
she kicked that ice cream man while he was down.
Yes, Keith, but that's, it depends on your environment. If that's what you've seen or that's what you're used to seeing. When you live around or walk around or hang out with Kingpin
to shoot down a poor woodpecker and then had the nerve to lie to her mother and say it fell out of a tree.
Keith, now what? Kids.
That was even before her mom passed away.
Now, you of all people should understand, as a kid, you make mistakes. And sometimes when you get caught out there,
but there's a difference.
You don't always tell the truth.
But I feel like there's a difference between a mistake and purposefully aiming a slingshot with a really sharp stone at a woodpecker, knowing full well that it would probably kill that woodpecker. Mm-hmm. And if the stone didn't do it, the impact on the ground would. What was the point of that?
Well, the point was we needed to see that bird healed.
Was that for funsies?
No, I just answered the question.
Yeah, I know, but couldn't Echo just cut herself on a branch and then her mom heals it?
Okay.
I feel like she didn't need to just be so evil and just take out a bird.
Yeah, but I think that it was a woodpecker, right? It had meaning throughout the series.
The woodpecker that followed her around. It was like her mother's spirit.
Well, right, yeah. So it could have just been her with a cut in her hand. It had to be something more symbolic, No?
Yeah, but I don't understand why a woodpecker that Echo shot when she was a child would want to hang around her. So
I see what you're saying. Okay. So getting back to Kingpin, yes, you're right. That's the environment that he lives in. She is around it. So she is going to, to survive, she has to do what, she's asked to do, he says, okay, well, you go here, you do this, you get this person, you knock this person out, you get this, you steal that. And one of the scenes that I like, very, very telling about how powerful Kingpin is in the first episode, when
but
Maya
Echo takes that bike and
takes the bike, right, and just runs it through the showroom and breaks the glass and it falls on the police car. And then
that cop's about to go after her, but then Kingpin walks up.
The next scene, Kingpin gets out of his limo, walks right over to the police. The police have her in handcuffs, and he just comes up calmly and just takes her and takes her away from the police. And they're looking at them like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the funny part is one of them was like, hey, sir, this is a restricted area. And another officer pulled him back like, don't you know who that is?
Exactly, right, yeah. Now, that's very interesting because if he can do that to the New York City police, right, have that kind of power over them, what power does he have over their bosses? The police commissioner. What power do they have on his boss?
Yeah, what power does he have over Jim Gordon?
Yeah, right.
The commissioner.
The commissioner. Yeah, exactly, right. And then Mayor. Speaking of Mayor, we'll come back to that post-credit scene. All right, so the next few episodes are basically about women from Maya's past, her ancestors, right? So
all the episodes are named after people in her lineage.
Exactly, right. So we had Chafa, who is one of the original Choctaw people, and she's made out of clay. How the story goes.
Made out of clay.
People are formed out of clay. And then
they drink from the fountain of youth. So to
say. They're from the bottom of the earth, and then they reach the surface, and then they shed their clay, and they have the human skin instead.
Yes.
So that was Chafa.
That's actually kind of a cool backstory, though.
That could be.
I respect that.
Yeah, we didn't
that
know.
Actually makes plenty of sense.
Yeah, we didn't know much about Schaefer, but she's like the original.
That was really it.
Yeah.
For her whole character development, though.
Well, yeah. Well, if it wasn't for her, there wouldn't be, civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess she was like the leader, which is a very important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she originated the powers that were passed down through her lineage.
Yes, right. Hey, that's a very good point. And she was the one that touched looks like a little pond or whatever that had magical powers. It was blue, and she was able to harness that, whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, and that was passed down to generations. So the next episode was Loak, who's another ancestor. She's a fierce competitor. She was the one that was playing this.
She picked up a ball with a stick.
Yes. Okay. Are you trying to be funny? Well, she's got speed and agility. Okay.
Which is something Echo already has.
Yes, right. Well, that's where it came from. Okay. All right. Tuklo. So this is from the 1800s. This was shot like a silent film. She is a Westerner. Her father is a member of the Light Horsemen. She asked her father if she could become a member, and he says, no, it's only for men, not for you, not for girls. He says women are life givers, men are life takers. So he shut her down. But,
very myopic.
Yeah. But of course, there was an incident where she actually had to save her people, with that big rifle that she had, so she had
excellent
skills.
Markswoman.
Yes, a marks person. Yes, exactly.
She threw a stick in a branch. I'm actually not being funny, though. That's kind of impressive. The accuracy you have to aim a stick with the velocity to actually knock the branch clean off. Like with a healthy tree, to be able to hit that branch off, you got to hit with a lot of force.
True.
So, yeah.
All right. Very good. Okay. All right. Episode 4, Talua. That is Maya's mother. All right. So her mother has a gift of healing.
Yes, with the healing gift.
Right. So we talked about that already. And then episode 5 was about Maya. Okay. And that was the last episode.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Now I realize there's kind of a gap there. I guess maybe like episode 3 or something was supposed to be Chula. Like, she should be in there.
Chula? Oh, yeah, is that her grandmother?
Yes.
Wasn't she in there? Did I miss that? Episode 1, 2,
No.
3?
She didn't have an episode named after her.
Oh, she didn't have an
episode.
Right.
According to Screen Crush, there were supposed to be 6 episodes, but it was cut for budget constraints.
Got it. Okay.
Thank you, Alex. Glad you agree with me.
Yes. Okay. So that's probably what happened. Her storyline was cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure there was some extra character development in there.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of sped ran it.
All right, that's fine.
Speed ran.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, all right. And then episode 5 was about Maya, and basically this was her taking all the powers from all of her ancestors and using them to fight against Wilson Fisk's goons. Now, if I was anything that I would have been critical of about this series was the last episode. You thought it was cool, like when you saw Maya.
Convoluted, but cool.
Yeah, well, Maya, just, I guess, from deep inside, channel all of her ancestors, and you see them all standing right next to her. I thought it was a little hokey, but I get it because you wanted to see the ancestors are there to support her.
I don't know why I started doing the bit from Safe and Sound, but Echo just went.
And then the other thing is, Maya somehow was able to transfer her powers to other people who didn't have that power before. Like, what happened with Bonnie and her grandmother.
Wait, so where is Bonnie in this?
Yes, well,
who are Bonnie's parents?
Yes, well, we don't have. No, I don't know.
Actually,
she lived with her grandmother.
Yeah, she lives with her grandparents. So who are Bonnie's parents?
Yeah,
are they tied to this lineage? Is it just like a straight line, like only the firstborn gets these powers? Or is there some clause, like all family members get the powers, but then further down the bloodline, there's like a 25% chance to get it or something?
Yeah, you know what? You have a good point. I say that would be the other thing that really, bothered me was that we didn't get to know more of who Bonnie is.
Yeah, it's kind of
really,
funny,
she was just like a damsel in distress type of thing.
Yeah, like poor Bonnie. She's a fire.
She's a what?
She works at the fire department.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like it would have made more sense to get in her truck and lock the doors before she made the call to the police station.
Right.
Like, it's just
okay.
protocol. Like, police officers usually either make sure they have a safe distance from the suspect, or they get in their car to take any calls or make calls.
Okay.
So, like, why in the world would she just stand there? And how'd that dude sneak up on her?
Keith, it's not a perfect
Also,
series.
remember when they knocked out Echo with that rag?
Yes.
Or something? Did she not, like, sense that or anything?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a very interesting question. Oh, you mean sense someone coming up from behind her?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. All right. And look, let's stop for a little bit because we're gonna wrap it up soon. But we want to see if there's any Q&A, any comments about Echo. So Alex says, I think the budget cuts and the lack of episodes originally probably led to less opportunity to develop some characters. Yeah, unfortunately, that happened to Bonnie.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to know more about her. Like he said.
And also the grandpa as well.
Well, true, right. Like he said.
He was just like the mechanic.
Yeah, if you knew a little more about him than you did about Bonnie. Bonnie and Maya had this relationship, but we really didn't see it form or bloom or anything. I don't know. And we really didn't get an explanation as to why Maya would not speak to Bonnie, to your point.
Yeah, one more thing. Who is Biscuits related to? Like, he says he's Maya's cousin. So is he related to Bonnie? Or is he like a third cousin?
Very confusing. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes.
Yeah. I wish somebody would just write us out a family tree.
Yeah.
So I can just have all this information and be like, oh, so Biscuit's parents are related to blah, 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 and Bonnie doesn't have powers because she's related to that. I
think maybe it might have benefited this series to have a few more episodes to flesh out who everybody is. But
honestly,
Eric has
like
a good point.
6th episode would have been helpful.
Maybe. But Eric says Bonnie is a cousin, so it's probably an uncle of Maya's. So we don't know.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to know, but I understand. I get it. If you're going to tell a story about family, you want to know who everybody is. Like, this person is that person related to this person. Eric says Biscuit is probably adopted. I don't think he's native. Yeah,
probably adopted.
Oh, that's a
roasting Biscuits on all angles.
And that's
an
interesting
rotisserie chicken the way he's getting cooked 360
And that's an interesting nickname for a grown man, Biscuits.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Like, is his government name Biscuits?
Yeah.
Or is it like Brian or something?
Yeah. Oh, and how can we forget about that other cameo? You remember?
Oh yes, Daredevil.
Daredevil, first episode.
And all the marketing, and he appears in all of 2 minutes of scenes.
But this was great. I thought the choreography, the fight between Maya and Daredevil was wonderful.
It was amazing.
And I love the suit. It's comic book accurate. I loved it. Yeah.
Like, I watched this fight, and there wasn't a moment where I thought, oh, this isn't believable. Oh, Daredevil couldn't take on Echo like that. Or, oh, Echo had so many missed opportunities. Like, every moment of that fight just felt logical and reasonable and cool to me.
Yes. Yeah. It was wonderful.
That was a fight.
That just gets me excited for more of Daredevil, Born Again. And as a matter of fact,
the only issue is, like, the stakes with Echo, and I mean Kingpin specifically, aren't really raised because 2 things. One, he's already being announced for Daredevil Born Again as a cast member. I think they had him on stage at one point. Secondly, he survived a direct blow to the face from a bullet.
True.
I don't think he's capable of dying.
Well, okay, I hear what you're saying. He's a very important character, so they don't want to get rid of him.
That was his eye.
Yeah, they didn't have to go there, but they did. Okay.
I don't know how that's possible.
All right. Can I say a couple more things? I just want to talk about how it all ended. just like you talked about. Why did Maya leave her family? But we end up seeing her back.
She's mean.
Okay, but she did come back. Do you give her credit? Do you give her credit for coming back?
Yeah, I give her credit for coming back.
And you know what? She actually smiled at the end of the episode.
At the very end of the show, she smiled.
She smiled.
Guys, she smiled.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right.
You know, that's just something most characters never do.
Right.
They never smile. Not at any point in their character journeys. But Echo did it.
Yeah. All right. And then the final moment was the end credit scene where Fisk is watching TV, and it looks like it's political season. New York City is looking for a new mayor to step up and stand up for the city. Fisk looks like he is interested in becoming the next candidate for mayor, which I believe comes from a comic book series. Yes,
I actually have like a little Lego newspaper. It says Business Fisk on it. See right here. Can y'all see that?
That's a little too small, but okay. So what does it say? Read it.
Rip this off.
Okay.
It says Business Fisk.
Yeah, now it's blurry. Business Fisk? What does that mean?
It's like Fisk for mayor, basically.
Okay, well, okay. So what
it's a Daily Bugle.
So right, so it is a storyline from the comics. So that seems to be the next step for Wilson, mayor of New York City. So that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. Also, thanks to Alex. Yeah, Echo. Boom! Yeah, both his eyes were going to the comics.
Yes, that's right. That's true. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Eric mentioned Graham Greene. I want to talk about the cast. This was a great cast. Okay. They did very well with what little they had. I thought it was well done. So I want to give a shout out to the cast. And so that would be, so we got Alaqua Cox, Maya. We know Devery Jacob is Bonnie, who is also the voice of Kahori from the What If episode. Chask Spencer as Henry. I like that character, Henry. I thought Henry, the uncle, was pretty cool.
I like him.
Yeah, he was very cool. He was very, even when he's angry, he's very caring about what happens to Maya. It's like, don't bring this stuff to my town. Are you listening to me? No? Okay. All right. So Zahn McLaren played William Lopez. That was Maya's father. Tonto Cardinal as Chula, the grandmother, and Graham Greene. By the way, I love Dances with Wolves. I know this is a movie you have not seen, but this movie came out 1990. They were in the movie. I believe, and I didn't get a chance to actually verify this. Someone could let me know. Tonto Cardinal and Graham Greene, I believe, played husband and wife in Dances with Wolves.
Cool. Who plays Biscuits?
Biscuits not in. Did I write down his name?
You forgot about him. Just like the show did.
That might be a good reason.
Just like Echo did.
I don't know. All right. So Graham Greene as Scully, Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk. Yeah. So it was a good character-driven story. Like I said, maybe 5 episodes didn't serve the purpose. But I think it did. I think I got a lot more. And I hate comparing anything else now to Secret Invasion. But I enjoy.
But I mean, you're really kicking a dead horse.
Yes, you're right. And this is the last time.
But on the other hand, it's good exercise for your foot.
This is the last time I'm going to mention Secret Invasion. I'm not going to compare Secret Invasion to anything else. But I got so much more out of this Echo series than I did out of Secret Invasion.
Me too. I think Echo is one of the better Disney Plus.
I agree. And people were, knocking it down and boo-hooing it even before it aired. I don't know why.
That's so weird to me that you wouldn't even give the show a chance.
Right. They haven't seen one.
Instantly go, boo!
Right. So they just hear these rumors. No! Eric, I like Secret Invasion. You can absolutely like Secret Invasion,
you
Eric.
Are
that is
totally
great.
Allowed to like Secret Invasion. If you can't tell, my finger's getting closer to the I'm sending you a writing prompt to think about your actions button.
No, you're not going to do that. No, Eric, that's great. That's great.
It is being mailed to your doorstep right now. I hope you get the paper.
Any final comments, just let us know. But we're going to wrap it up. We have some notices. So we want to, we have friends of the show, right? And we always want to shout out whatever it is that they're working on. So I just want to let's talk about this first. All right. This is Escape from Valo. All right. Alyssa Wong, Daniel Jose Older. This book dropped yesterday or was released yesterday. We have a copy. We can't wait to dive into it. We're gonna, starting soon, we're gonna read this and we're gonna read it from beginning to end, and we're gonna take notes, and we'll probably want to do a review of this. All right, so look out for that. Our friend to the show, Lamont McGee. All right, we had him on twice, right? So he was a producer of Young Jedi Adventures, but he's also embarking, this is pretty big, on owning his own comic book series. All right, so we got this Ghost Machine. All right, this is like 64 pages. It's great. Pick it up, take a look at it. You can get it at your local comic book shop. So we want to support Lamont McGee in that. He, among other, there are many other writers and owners of Ghost Machine. This is a new series, so it's gonna be coming out monthly. So grab that if you're into comics. All right, that's Ghost Machine. All right, so you want to hold on to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mace Windu. There's going to be a Mace Windu comic coming out next Wednesday, February the 7th, I believe. So written by Mark Bernardin. I want to get Mark Bernardin on the show. That's what I wanted to say that. Okay, I was not going to say that, but I'm going to see what we can do.
Shoot for the stars.
All right, Mace Windu. So look out for that limited series.
February 7th should be a Wednesday. It's a week from now.
It is a Wednesday, yeah. So yeah, the issue number 1 will release on Wednesday. Check out our interview with Troopamon, Jen Markham. That was fantastic. That was a lot of fun. Jen Markham. Keith ranked or graded all 33 MCU films. If you have not checked that out, that is awesome. It is very long. It's our longest episode, 1 hour and 20 minutes, I believe, but it was a lot of, it went fast, right? It didn't feel like an hour and 20 minutes. It was absolute fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to spoil it if you've not seen it, but Keith gave one of these films an F, and that's all I'm going to say.
I'd like you to guess which one.
If you have not seen it, you'll never guess. Okay. All right. And then we gave a tribute a couple of days ago. Well, Keith gave a tribute to Lanny Smoot. He is a Disney Imagineer who's actually going to be inducted into the Inventors Hall of Fame. So we just want to congratulate him.
First Black Disney Imagineer and only the second Disney employee ever to only Walt Disney himself.
Exactly. So this is a very, very big deal. So we wish him much success. But we're working on things and trying to set up interviews. So keep us locked in, keep us posted, put the notification, button, make sure that's turned on so you'll be up to date with anything else that we're doing.
I'm using my magical powers to make the button go.
So more in February, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, that's coming out. That actually starts on Friday on the Disney Channel, and then maybe a couple of days later, that'll drop on Disney Plus. So we can't wait for that either. All right, so a lot going on, and then the Bad Batch. Obviously.
We should write lore for our podcast.
Who?
Lore.
Who's that? Okay. Anyway, all right. Any final comments?
Lore is like a storyline behind something.
Okay. All right. Lore.
That was like an offhanded joke.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any final comments? Okay. So that is it. Keith, I'm going to ask you if you could tell us where people can find us.
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fatherson Galaxy, website fathersongalaxy.com. Please check out our merch store, fathersongalaxy.com/myspreadshop. fathersongalaxy.myspreadshop.com. Sorry.
Yep, that's fine. That's a lot of words.
Also, our Patreon page, patreon.com/fathersongalaxy. And to Eric Elliott, we didn't forget about your joke. I laughed.
Yeah, I missed a joke. Tell me the joke.
He said, when Biscuits goes to England, he has scones.
Ah, I got it. I saw a question for Alice. Can I go back to that question? I just want to see what the question is, if you don't mind. Super producer. Which seasons of Daredevil? I'm starting from the very beginning. I have not seen any.
Gosh.
No. You haven't seen any either, right? No, Alice, I'm starting from the very beginning. I think I saw maybe the first episode, but I'm going to watch it again because it's been a while. But yes, I intend to watch. Was it 3 seasons? Whatever, how many number of seasons I'm going to watch them all before Born Again starts up. Thank you to our patrons, Baraxium and Mary B. Thank you so much. We can't do this without you. I think that is it, Keith. So we're back. Like I said, you know, we have been busy, you know, these last few weeks, but we're still here. All right. So again, just keep us locked in. There's a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of things happening in the next few weeks or few months. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd like you to know we did not quit.
Yes.
We are still here.
We're still here. You know, we
don't want to leave the platform.
Yeah, we're trying to you know, maintain a schedule.
We're not retiring like Matt Pat.
Yeah, you know, we'll work on a schedule for our live stream, but we'll do the best we can. But thank you for your patience and thank you for your understanding. All right, and this has been fun. Glad to be back, and we're glad to have you here. Thank you to everyone on YouTube and Instagram and on Facebook. If you're watching there, wherever you're listening to us, thank you so much. So until next time, take care, and we will see you again.